This is about children, but it's also about their future, and the future of all of us in America. It is about each child gaining a priceless sense of self-control, helping every child to grow into a critical and creative thinking individual with a feeling of confidence and competence. We expect our children to achieve a solid body of knowledge, successful life habits, and ways of thinking to form the foundation on which they can build a future as happy, productive adults in a challenging, changing world. While their early years are a time for our children, rightfully, to enjoy the pleasures of childhood, the child's experiences are forming at the same time the foundation for developing the primary thinking patterns for the rest of their lives. Those brain patterns have almost unlimited potential while the child is young. Standardized education places our children in an assembly line of sorts, where our children receive a one-size-fits-all diet of information that is somehow supposed to nourish individuals with widely differing constitutions, interests, and habits. Children are individuals with different talents and dreams, and they don't all learn in the same way, because no two brains think alike. Today's early educational experiences no longer adequately serve what brain scientists tell us is the amazing potential of each child. As a nation, America is ranked only number 24 in the world in reading, 36th in math, and 28th in science. The consequences of these failures are that businesses must hire millions of foreign workers. Their youth are being better prepared to fulfill economic needs because our youth are not being prepared for needed creative and critical thinking abilities. One of the reasons early education is not advancing is the reluctance to change rather than embracing the new. We are still using the same approach used for over 100 years and expecting different results. The problem is not with our teachers, who are often blamed for these failings. It is policy entanglement. To begin with, development is ultimately different for each child, and it has to use science to turn standardized education into success for the individual in the way that the brain develops for young children. Brain thinking patterns are, to a small degree, a product of genetics, but the principal wiring structure, or how the brain circuitry is wired or connected together, depends on nutrition, the environment, and the stimulation the child receives from seeing reality from exposure to real and virtual experiences. Presenting a young student with life experiences that resonate with his or her own interests and needs engages the child, draws his or her immediate emotional attention, and alerts the brain's neural pathways. This principle of cognitive development remains the same, even among a spectrum of individuals who come from widely varying home, ethnic, and cultural environments. For a child, creating a complex cognitive thinking capacity requires the consistent presence of challenging, real-world stimulation that the student finds useful and interesting. These early years are when a child builds either a strong and supportive thinking foundation for the rest of his or her life, or one that is fragile and unreliable. The more closely this input resembles real-life experience, the more effectively it creates these powerful thinking networks. Early learning software must incorporate some of the same types of compelling features found in video games. Learning techniques that make use of multimedia with real images and real-life experiences wire the brain networks. Building brain patterns that will help each student function in real life requires experience, immediate feedback, mistake-making, self-correction, interactivity, and a sense of reward for accomplishment that only real life itself can deliver. Learning to read from a book is a primary focus of early learning today. Reading is essential and provides self-confidence, but it falls short of meeting the need for full comprehension because it rarely, if ever, produces in the child's mind the necessary images or experience of true reality. A child needs to have experiences that extend beyond the ability to learn to read and do basic math. We adults must be aware that, while at one time there were more and better jobs for people who had limited aspirations during their education, this is no longer the case. Today, a child needs a much broader understanding of their place in the community. This includes an understanding of science, history, and civics, accompanied by critical and creative thinking abilities. Each student needs to be prepared to shake hands with the future when they get there. Previously, it was assumed that the responsibility for child development, apart from school-based reading and math, lay with a child's parents. However, in recent decades, America and the world has become far more complex. The initial understanding of how to move among the community is necessary in a child's education. Realistic presentations can virtually transport students to where they have previously only dreamed of going. Comprehensive data from teachers using leading-edge multimedia has conclusively demonstrated that this style of presentation increases student focus and engagement. Currently, popular standardized testing methods are neither fair nor a true evaluation of a child's capabilities. A child can feel they are being left behind very soon with standardized testing. This sense of failure can stay with the child to the point that they lose interest and confidence in trying to learn. Yet students are being judged based on tests that provide annoyingly frequent and questionable snapshots of understanding. Students, teachers, and parents alike have serious questions as to whether they are really helping the student or are merely satisfying bureaucratic dictates. Not all students have been prepared, need, or are capable of learning the same thing at the same time, at the same rate, or even with the same effort. The progress of each student should be continuously measured in real time based on individual competency, not standardized testing. Assessment must be measured in real time and in many subject areas with immediate feedback, allowing the student the opportunity to self-learn. Children need not be left behind or intimidated because of current testing methods. A student will receive the most benefit by using his or her own cognitive thinking abilities to secure success. The learning curricula must allow the students to select their own subjects within a set of established options, which is a superior way for students to learn to think and make their own choices. An early lesson in life. Students' activity choices are an important part of individualized programs, such as those we've recommended here. It is available to help students, parents, and teachers identify subject areas best suited to students' keenest interests, and is geared toward the highest likelihood of optimal performance and helping them decide their future. Given choices among presentations of real-world experience areas, a student discovers where their talents lie and polishes skills that lead to significant accomplishment, creating greater confidence in his or her cognitive abilities, a passion for learning, and a purpose and hope for their future. Effective education isn't derived from a top-down dictate from national politicians and special interests. The process of delivering and measuring student abilities should be at the local level. Each individual in the process must be empowered to act on their own, rather than only as a group. This does not require new school administrative structures, but rather a new understanding of scientific reality and how the brain works. It is a willingness to focus on measured cognitive thinking development rather than memorization of facts. Standardized education tends to either neglect or erase our human differences and diversity instead of recognizing and celebrating individual value and possibilities. Personalized education, as presented here, takes advantage of the remarkable design of human individuals and the incredible brain that is its centerpiece. It gives them the freedom to imagine, innovate, dream, create, and invent. That is the results of individualized development. Our goal must be to give each child a voice and not only be an echo of others' thoughts. Teachers cannot do this important job alone. Parents must be involved if they want their child to succeed in our global economy. Teachers need to be given more independence to be more knowledgeable about their students by understanding individual needs and helping their students make their own decisions. A more positive personal educational system, as described here with the human touch, will help each individual student and will serve as the most comprehensive early education tool for parents and teachers in existence. As a student acquires specific understanding of their own attitudes as well as academic performance, parents and teachers will discover what each of their children enjoy, what they are good at, and who they want to be in life. If America is again to lead the world in education, we must reclaim our heritage as a free society, where the capabilities of free individuals are our anchor. America needs an early education system that excites and stimulates children, providing them with the learning they need and deserve to fulfill their potential. Again, that kind of system now exists. A student can develop proficiency in creative and critical thinking skills. We'd like to challenge you to think about a more individualized, reality-based educational system that will be better for our kids and turn our schools into centers of learning that will unchain the as-yet untapped creative and mental capabilities. It is time for change, and we cannot let the world of opportunity escape our children. Their future chances for success and happiness in life depends upon it.